What up, Viking fans, and thank you for tuning in to the Skol State of Mind podcast. As you already know, I'm your host, D Woods. First off, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it. It helped my channel grow. Thank you. But let's get into it. These are my first initial thoughts of the Viking game against the Indianapolis Colts. Well, the Vikings won 21-13. And I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I'm not impressed. I mean, this was a game I kind of felt the Vikings shouldn't have came in here, and I'm not gonna say manhandled the Colts, but they shouldn't have won a little bit more convincingly. And they kind of played sloppy, in my opinion. And I just feel like with the Vikings having 10 days off on their mini bye, they shouldn't have been a whole lot more prepared. And they just kind of like it was like a lackluster effort. And I don't really feel after this game that I can be a whole lot confident in the Vikings actually, making a playoff run with the way they played today. So let's break it down about the offense. Well, Sam Darnold pretty much played an up and down game. I'm gonna just throw this out there right now. In my opinion, that fumble that he had earlier in the game, I feel the ref kind of missed that another, face mask penalty because it seems like the defender just hit him right in the head, and that kind of was the reason why he dropped that ball. I just want to get that out there first. But minus that, Sam Darnold basically threw two interceptions. I mean, one of those interceptions was just basically like a straight up gift, like early Christmas gift. Like you can't do that. I mean, turnovers. And I do understand that. Like, I'm not one of those, analysts or, people, commentators or whatever you want to call me that goes out here and is like a quarterback has to play perfect. I do understand that when you want to like do chunk plays and you want to go downfield and you're like aggressive, that leads to the offense making mistakes, that leads the quarterback, getting interceptions or whatever. But, he finished 28 for 34, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So, I mean, that's not too bad. I say Sam Darnold plays solid to me. Like he's not the reason why, we either lost this game or won this game. Like he played solid, like in my opinion. Like it was straight. I mean, to me, I feel like the the offense needed to flow a whole lot more. I think the passing game and the running game needs to be a mirror image of each other. Like it was certain times in the game where I felt like Kevin O'Connell should have like kept his foot on the pedal by running the ball. Like it was a drive where the run was just actually working, and then he called a passing play, and it kind of like killed the whole drive. Like that's some things that I see Kevin O'Connell doing a whole lot, and it's just like I know like he likes to pass and that's like his forte, but sometimes like I feel like the run is working and he seems to abandon that like a whole lot. And I just feel like there's a lot of things this offense really has to work on. I think like I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again. It's getting kind of like super redundant that this offense, when they come out in the first quarter, the scripted plays, that first basic, drive, that this team really does really well with that. And then like the other team makes adjustments and Kevin O'Connell has a hard time making an adjustment to the other team's adjustment. And then we go that whole, second quarter, whatever. Then we go in the third quarter where I guess they go in the, you know, go in the locker room and they make another adjustment. And then you see the Minnesota Vikings come out there on their in the second quarter in the second half on their first drive, and they basically look good again. And then you see the offense get stagnant, later in the second half. Like I just feel like I don't know what it is with Kevin O'Connell, but he has to be able to keep the offense, at at an even pace throughout the whole game. And I just feel like by having this offense constantly go up and down, that's going to lead to a disaster. Like, you know, down the road. So, you know, I just feel like we got to get better with that, man. Get better with that. So let's talk about the defense. Defensive struggles. So there wasn't a lot of defensive struggles. I mean, some people will say the defense played pretty well today. Like, the defense basically didn't give up, touchdowns or whatever that mean touchdowns, or, they played relatively good. But in my opinion, like, I don't like the way defense played. I don't necessarily like that bend not break mentality, because I feel like when you have a good defense, your defense needs to be able to get off the field. And when I say get off the field, you need to be forcing offenses to three and outs. And I just feel like this defense is basically built with a lot of hybrid players. And what I mean by hybrid players is this defense has a players that are interchangeable, and they can play a lot of different positions on this defense, but there's not a lot of like real dogs on this defense. There's not a lot of guys on this defense that basically scare opposing offenses. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's not like a lot of Danielle Hunters on this defense. Like, Jonathan Grenard is a good pass rusher, but he's not like a Danielle Hunter. Like, these guys need to be schemed to do certain things. And I just feel like with this defense, now I'm not going to say like the book is out on Brian Flores, but what teams are doing now, and why the pass rush is having the struggle, is teams are keeping, six guys in to basically max protect. And now you're seeing the pass rush get stagnant. And like, Brian Flores hasn't fixed that. Like, that's a problem. Like, we've seen that with the Lions, we've seen that with the Rams, and now we've seen that with the Colts. This is the third consecutive game where basically our pass rush is basically non-existent, and the middle of the field was still open. Now, we can still say like the defense played well, but I'm just going to say it again. What happens when we play against a better offensive team that's not the Colts? They're going to expose us, because look what happened with the Rams game. They exposed our defense. Like, yeah, the defense got some sacks at the end of the game, but the game was already basically decided. You get what I'm saying? They got some picks, and a fumble, but I think this defense basically relies on getting turnovers, not just going three and out. Me personally, I would rather a defense go three and out besides relying on turnovers. You get what I'm saying? Because when you go three and out, you're giving your offense a whole lot more opportunities. And you can't basically have your defense rely on a whole lot of turnovers, because you're not going to get turnovers all the time. And when you can't get a turnover, you leave your defense on the field a whole lot more throughout the whole game. And we saw how that happens when your defense gets tired. So, like, that's how I feel about that defense, though. That's just something to look out. Special teams. There are no special teams highlights, because Ryan Reichert basically missed two kicks today. He's been automatic all season, and he basically missed two kicks today at home in the dome. And my honest opinion is I'm happy for the kid. I know he missed the field goals. We won the game, but now the pressure is off. He's normal. You're going to miss some. Now we can get rid of all this GOAT talk, and he's the greatest kicker that ever was. We can just let him be a normal kicker. Is let it go, right? Just let it go. He's a normal kicker. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. I accept it. Move on from it, kid. Have a good game next game. It is what it is. That's just what I keep saying, telling you guys over and over again. Let's stop getting too high on certain situations. Yes, it's good. He didn't miss no kicks, but look what happened. He missed two today. And now y'all probably going to be in the comments, and y'all probably going to be on social media and, want him traded. No, he just made a couple of mistakes. Moving on. Areas of concern. So my areas of concern as of right now, I think we need to talk about, what's going on with Blake Cashmere. I think this turf toe injury is really turning on to like a prolonging thing. And I don't know like what the Vikings can do, you know, to replace Cashman, because I'm starting to see that playing Josh Metellus in the middle and playing Ivan Pace in the middle, that's not going to work consistently. Like, we need a real linebacker in the middle, because like this defense really is suffering without it. Like, Josh Metellus is he's not it in the middle, bro. Like, he's just not it. And I'm just really like, I don't know why Brian Flores is continues to put him there, you know? Like, I understand like you can interchange them and give the other offense these different fronts, but the Blake Cashman injury is really starting to bother me. On offense, an area of concern. I mean, just Sam Darnold like making like boneheaded plays, man. Like, I can kind of deal with like one interception, but like the other interception he had was like so blatant. It was like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, I just feel like Sam Darnold has to not try to play hero ball. I'm not sure like that's what he's thinking, but if the play is already like you see nobody open down the field, or you don't see any intermediate route that you can hit, just eat it. Like, you saw Joe Flacco do that like numerous times in the game just to continue, the play, going on. And I felt like Sam Darnold would either take a sack or throw an interception. And by him taking a sack, kind of took us out of field goal range, or threw an interception and created a turnover. Just throw it at the running back's feet, or throw it out of bounds. And it's kind of crazy because it's like these are the things that Kirk Cousins was great at, and we used to complain about, like, oh, Kirk Cousins used to always take a check down, but that's something that Kirk used to do to always, there's another down. You get what I'm saying? Like, we can always take another down. So, like, that's the area of concern, like, because I feel like these plays that Sam Darnold is having, they're starting to be too many. You get what I'm saying? Like, there really is. So let's move on to overreactions. I mean, let's not overreact about the kicker situation. That's one of my biggest things too. I'm just gonna go back to that. Like, the overreaction about the kicker, he missed 2 kicks. Move on. Let's just move on. Like, move on from it. He missed 2 kicks. Let's not overreact about it. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not. Just move on. No overreaction. Let's not overreact like we did with the Jordan Adams situation. It's not a big deal. Move on. Key turning points in the game. Hmm. What were the key turning points in the game? I mean, interceptions, man. Like, I kind of felt like the interceptions that Sam threw kind of gave the Colts like consistent life. You get what I'm saying? Like, he kept giving the Colts like life in this game by getting their offense like back on the field. And that's something that you can't do. Like, it's like I said before, if we go against another team that basically has a better offense, we lose this game. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, we just basically lose this game. Like, you can't you can't have 3 turnovers on offense and expect to win these type of games. When you play against a lower level team like the Indianapolis Colts, which came to this game at 4-4, you have 3 turnovers on offense. Yeah, it happens, but we did get 2 interceptions, so it kind of that's two for three. It is what it is, but we just can't do that. We play sloppy. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, we play sloppy, and the game could have went a completely different way, you know, but it didn't because we played against Indianapolis Colts. So now let's just go with this right here. Now, the top performers, right? So let's talk about the top performers on offense. Your boy Justin Jefferson had a great game. He got 7 receptions for 137 yards, no touchdowns though. I kind of felt like they was trying to feed Jordan Addison a whole lot more this game. And this was the game TJ Hawkinson actually came back. He went 3 receptions for 27 yards, nothing spectacular. So I would just say, like, the player of the game on offense is, basically, Justin Jefferson. You know, player on defense. I mean, what can we say on defense? I can't really give it to nobody like that, man, because the defense, they played solid, but it ain't really nobody like, Brian Murphy got an interception, but that's about it, because all the sacks that we got was at the end of the game. Like, I can't I can't really say too much. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I really can't, like, it just is what it is, man. I'm just, just like I said before, like, beginning of this video, like, I'm just really disappointed, and I'm just being completely honest with y'all. Like, I want this team to win. I want this team to go into the playoffs and you know make a point. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know we Viking fans, but look at what the Lions did. The Lions basically, if you look at them 2 years ago, like, they built something. They taught themselves how to win. They basically, you know, went to the playoffs, won a game, whatever, then went back to the playoffs, and the next thing you know, they in the NFC title game. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to try to build something, and I feel like the Minnesota Vikings are starting to go backwards. You feel me? And I told you guys, like, in my last video, basically I said, like, for this season to be a success, my measuring stick is I want the Vikings to actually go to the playoffs and win a playoff game. You give me, like, win a playoff game. Like, I'm not saying, like, regardless of how they get in the playoffs, I want them to win a playoff game and like just win a playoff game, because that will be them building on their success. Because their first season going, 13-4, whatever, they had a home game. You know, the Giants came in here, we lost. Then the second game, the second year, we basically went backwards, and now we seem to be having a good season. And now, we having these struggles again. Like, we got to keep moving. We got to build season to season. And I don't want to keep thinking about, like, how people are saying, like, oh, but JJ McCarthy is going to be there next year. But we have to learn how to win now. You get what I'm saying? Like, we got to fix these things now. Like, we always got to look for the future, fix these things now, and so we can contend. Like, we got to figure some things out. Like, I just don't understand it. I just, there's certain things that I see with this team that I just don't like. And it's like, it's real unpopular opinion. And some people think it's basically like, oh, I'm hating on the team, and I don't want the team to succeed. But it's just like, I look at the team as a whole, like, how do they compare against the top teams in the league? Can they have all these turnovers and beat a Kansas City team? That's the measuring stick. You feel me? Like, you only beat the Colts by 8 points today. Like, that's not good. You shot yourself in the foot multiple times. Your defense gave up a lot of yards. Like, come on. We have to do better. Like, we have to stop settling for just a win. We have to do better. We have to get it together. I don't know what we gotta do, but we have to do better. And that's just how I feel. This might come off as a rant, and some people might not know how to accept it, but we have to do better. Because if we want to be compared to these other teams, because the goal is a Super Bowl. That's the goal. That's the goal of Super Bowl. The goal is not to win a game. The goal is a Super Bowl. The Minnesota Vikings have never won a Super Bowl in their history. We won a Super Bowl. That's the goal. We can't win a Super Bowl playing like this. We can't. So, as Viking fans, we got to stop accepting this. We got to stop accepting this just because the team won today. That's not acceptable. Do better. Play better. Play with better discipline. Get the defense together. Get the offense together. Get the special teams together. Play better. Play complementary football. Look like you belong with the top echelons teams of the league. Because you already know what they say. Every time we lose to a top team, we frauds. That's why they say that. That's why the pundits, the ESPNs, the CBS Sports, the Fox Sports, that's why they don't talk about us. Because look at how we play. Look at how we play. Because every time we go against a top echelon team, we lose. So they call us frauds. And then we struggle against the bad teams. We have to put it together. Look at the Lions, for example. They've been one of the underdwelling teams for years, but now they're putting it together. They're smashing teams, so they're getting their respect. We're not going to get no respect in this league until we start doing the same. That's all I'm saying. So that's my post game, y'all. And I appreciate y'all for, staying with me on my little rant. But you guys already know how I end it. Let me get the Skol, baby.